Hey, like and subscribe, join the family, and watch this video. The live action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender is coming to Netflix very soon. We've already talked about how they've been setting the stage for this to happen by putting the show on Netflix. So what we're going to be doing in anticipation for this is breaking down each episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender and seeing just how they can do this live action, and discussing and dissecting what approach they should take. So already off the bat, the extended intro, oh my gosh, this intro is so underrated. Like the fact that they did this intro the first time and they never did it again, like they changed it and cut it down. I was just like, I love this. This is so underrated. I couldn't memorize it, but it's so underrated. So that definitely needs to be explored with the live action series. I mean, hopefully they don't do like a crappy green screen like how they did with the movie that we shall never ever say the name of on this channel ever. I mean, but if you ever see that movie, like you've seen the beginning and it was just terrible. They changed the words. No. The transition from the intro to the introduction scene was the most smooth that it's ever been throughout the entire series in the first episode, and it conveys such a strong message. We go from saying, hey, this is the huge world-changing stakes, then we go from a high sky view camera angle transitioning to a small close-up on two small town kids, village kids that are eventually gonna raise and change the world. It already shows how the creators are saying so much without even saying a word, and that needs to be done in this live action series. That it has to start like that. If it doesn't start like that, I don't want it. I don't. Not even 10 seconds into the first scene, we already see Katara waterbending and using her abilities, and I can tell you that this was done on purpose. The creators introduced this concept so early within the first act of the first episode because they didn't want the children or anyone watching to be confused later on when the abilities were displayed. This whole first scene with Katara and Sokka was perfect. The pacing of it was great, and yet it also introduces these character threads right off the bat. You know from the beginning that Katara is a little hot-headed, and you know from the beginning that Sokka is a little misogynist, but he's kind of insecure. And yet another smooth transition from those character points right to introducing the main character in such a nostalgic way. I mean, the boy in the iceberg. So now on the flip side, the introduction of Zuko is actually pretty interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna say I want them to change it outright, but if you look back, they kind of introduced Zuko as like a failure. Like Iroh's just like laughing him off. Yeah, like this time it might not happen. What's different from this time from all the other times? But we know as the audience, something big just occurred. And I mean, obviously we know Aang is the Avatar by this point. I mean, the whole first scene with Sokka, Katara, and Aang finally all meeting each other for the first time just proves to me that I was completely correct with my last video on Sokka. Like, the voice acting with Sokka was next level. I mean, whoever voice acted him completely embodied the character and completely added so much life to the show and so much humor and lightheartedness. And that is going to be hard to top or hard to equal in the live action series. Do I think someone can do it though? For sure. I think it's possible. We've seen people like Robert Downey Jr. We've seen that. And then here, there's such beautiful foreshadowing with Aang's backstory about 12 episodes before we ever explore it, because I believe that's the episode the storm takes place in. But 12 episodes foreshadowing the entire series. Oh my gosh, the writers are so amazing. So that has to stay. I mean, I want that there, because foreshadowing is a great tool because it offers such a beautiful payoff at the end. Not to mention that if they do this scene visually, it can look amazing if done right in the live action. And sadly, I cannot play for you guys the soundtrack or any sound from it, but let me just tell you that the soundtrack was amazing. It was always done correctly, and they need to get that same person on board. If they want to get the feels to be similar, they need that same guy. Corona trying to take me. But Aang needs to be portrayed well. Not saying that he needs the most talented actor, but the actor needs to understand Aang. Aang's whole thing is like fun at the moment. At this very episode, his whole thing is just, okay, let's have fun. Let's Let's have fun. He introduces fun to Katara, even though she's like this motherly like figure. And then at the end of the episode, he eventually takes her to face one of her fears, which is at the Fire Navy boat. So the actor of Aang needs to understand the character of Aang. He needs to have a strong grip and grasp on that character if this is ever going to be portrayed correctly. Hey, like and subscribe, join the family, and watch this video.